Peace, 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 peace. Look, I'm just having an amazing day, a really amazing day, and nothing special is happening. I'm just in a place of just full gratitude. But anyway, peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. I hope that I am finding you all in an amazing place because I am. And if you're not there, I hope that you're listening to your mind, your body, and your spirit. Okay? Listen to yourself. That's been like the message of the saying that I have been saying to people who've came my way recently. What is your inner voice telling you to do? What is your inner voice saying? What is it saying? So if you're not feeling yourself, if you're feeling out of touch, what is your spirit? What is your body trying to tell you? Okay? Anywho, happy day, happy day. I hope everybody's doing good. I wanted to hop on and just have my little conversation. If you haven't noticed, I've kind of wanted to change the titles up a bit. Okay, so I'm changing the titles to Butterfly Journal, and then whatever the title is, because I consider myself, I won't say I consider, I am a blogger too. So I would like to turn these into sort of like a journal. So I write, but then I want to, use my voice to express a piece of my journey to hopefully inspire and, guide people towards their purpose and their destiny too, So Butterfly Journal, and then whatever the title is. And who knows, that may change. I keep, getting all this inspiration and these creative ideas, but I feel like this one it may stick. We'll see, but it may not be Butterfly Journal on every single video. It may be a different inspiration. Who knows? But anyway, I wanted to come on today and just really talk about why it is important to heal from your miscarriages or miscarriage. And I'm talking about this is because this is a part of my journey too. I've had 4 miscarriages, and going along my journey, I realized how important it was for me to heal from those miscarriages. And this is not to not talk about people who have, lost a kid, a physical child of theirs, or who've had stillbirth. Now, my condolences, okay? My condolences. Today, I wanted to talk about miscarriages because that's a part of my journey. And I realized how important it was to heal from that spiritually, body, mind, and soul, okay? It was so important. And, for me, healing from my miscarriage, it took a lot. It was something that I didn't want to no longer talk about because I felt like at a certain point, my miscarriages wasn't big enough. Like, people don't view this as a major loss. And so with people not really talking about miscarriages and their experiences with that and how they felt emotionally and mentally and physically, because you feel like your body didn't do what it's naturally supposed to do. So as a woman, it was rough, but also as a woman who have had a miscarriage, and you see people who lose children and lose a spouse and lose like physical people, you don't think that your situation is big, and it's hard to talk about. So I went through those miscarriages holding on to them and burying them deep, trying my hardest and trying my best to really heal from, in which I thought I was healing from them at some point. But being in the military, they didn't really give you a lot of time to cope. I think for 2 of the miscarriages I had maybe 2 weeks off. of work because they required like a small procedure. And then one of them, I think I kind of just went back to work. And so the fourth one happened since I've been out of the military. But I felt like I didn't really have time, and I didn't know how to make space to heal from that. And so I would cry alone a lot. I buried it. I numbed myself to the loss. I'll bring it up to people, but it will always be the same advice, and nobody really understood. And so I tried a few different things. Once I got out the military, I even tried grief counseling, but it took me so long to agree to grief counseling because I could imagine what other people or who other people have lost, So I'm like, I don't think I could bring up my loss because I felt like it wasn't, for me, it was major, but I felt like the response to my loss wouldn't be what I would look for. Like, I didn't feel like I would get the emotional support that I really needed, And so that was one of the things I really dealt with alone. Like, I would let my husband get a piece of my grief. And even with that, it's like, I don't want to, I just deal with it myself. I don't want to, burden him with my sadness, my grief. And I remember there would be days I would get off from work and I would pull in the driveway and I would just sit there and I would cry and cry and cry. Not even a normal cry, it was a weep. I would weep. I would weep. And I would gather myself and I would get out the car and I would go in and try to be a parent, be a wife. And in the midst of that, wine, now, it's coming to me that I was, drinking wine almost every night, just things like that. Now, I wouldn't be dumb drunk, but it'll be something that helped me sleep. And so I was doing regular therapy. Now, this is just to add to the depression and anxiety I already had. And so when the miscarriages happened, it just piled on top of the trauma that I was already burying and, trying to run away from. And so that was probably some of the hardest challenges that I had to do. But as I went along my journey once I got out the military to just finding myself, because I was losing me. I was losing myself. And so, and you could tell I started gaining weight. Like I said, drinking wine. And I started drinking wine after I stopped drinking the hard liquor. And so, doing all of those, really, I guess, trying to cope. And upon getting out, I had a fourth miscarriage. And by the time I had this fourth miscarriage, I'm somewhat at peace with myself. So when this happened, I was like, God, why this one? I said, I'm going through the steps. I'm healing. Righting my wrongs with myself. And so I remember one day being in the shower and I was crying about the fourth miscarriage. And so I'm crying and I'm just not understanding why I'm, upset. And so something just came over me and it said, you aren't healing from these right. You aren't healing from these right. And so I was like, oh. I said, wow. So then I started thinking, well, how do I really heal from this? How do I really heal from this? And so I'm a person who really and truly believes in meditation. And so that was something that I was already doing, but I had become more intentional. I had started thinking about the spirits of the kids, the miscarriages that I had, the babies that I had, started thinking about their spirits. And I realized I had a hold on their spirits, and I wasn't allowing my family to be a part of the process. I was doing it all alone. You know, I didn't even really talk to my daughter about that part of my life. So, I would speak to my husband about it, but not in a way where how I actually feel. You know, it'll be little conversations here and there. But I then started to really be intentional about my meditations. I've looked into womb healing and like steams and different things. And then, you know, I started really paying attention to what I eat. But one of the main things, like a major release that I had to do, was send the spirits of those babies off. Like, there was, I felt like that I was holding on to. I had to release them. And so little stuff would just come to me. So I said, I think the easiest thing I could do was a balloon release. And so I went, and this was something I was talking to my husband, like I had to make it a family thing. It was like I had all the ideas in my head of what I need to do to release those babies. And so I went and I got 4 white balloons. And I don't think we went that day, but I had to do it soon. And maybe it was the next day. And so there's a small beach right up the road from my house. So it was me, my husband, and my daughter. We went to the ocean, and I had the 4 balloons, and I handed him one and I handed her one, and I had 2. And we stood there, and I said a couple of words. I spoke because this was something that I had to release. And so I had spoke about my pregnancies. I spoke about each one. I spoke about how much they meant to me. I spoke about how hard it'll be to release them. I stood there and I told them I love them, and I have to let them be a part of all of us and not just me. That each of us needs a piece of them. And I did the countdown to release. But even during the countdown, it took me forever to get to 3. It took forever for me to just say 3. And that's when I realized how much I was really holding on to them. I did not realize that I was keeping them. I did not realize I was keeping them. And for me to release them was so hard. It was so hard to release them. And that let me know that I was not healing. I was not healing. I would cry a little bit and fix myself back up and go. But I finally got to 3. And the attachment that I had with those balloons, was deep. It was deep. And so I watched every last balloon go into the sky. I would not leave until all balloons were lost in the sky. We all were emotional. We all were emotional. And so that was a pivotal point for me, because I felt this weight lift. And it wasn't like they were leaving. It was just I was letting them have a piece of all of us. And so that moment there even prompt me to get I already had it, but I wanted a symbol of those babies. So I have this bird. It's a white bird, and I've been having it for years, but I've never done anything with it. And so I found that somehow. I found it somehow in the house, and I cleaned it up, and I have it sitting on my mantle in my front room. And so that is the symbol of those babies, because I didn't want my miscarriages or my babies to be forgotten about. I wanted it to be a symbol. I didn't want it to be a secret. I wanted this to be something that is a part of us, because those were spirits. Those were souls that were on their way here. So I needed a symbol. I needed something. So it was like, if I'm going to release you, I need a part. I need a symbol of them here. And so that was, like I said, a pivotal point for me, and a very much so healing point for me. And I didn't realize how much I needed it. But when God said, you didn't heal from the other ones, you didn't heal. And so I said, okay, even though this hurt, I have to deal with this. I have to deal with this pain, as I've been dealing with other pains in my life. That was a big one for me. And so, along with just acknowledging that this is what happened to me, this is how this truly made me feel, and I needed my family to be a part of it. I needed their support. I needed the support of others. But I also needed to hear from within what to do with this. Because a lot of people are walking around and have lost a fetus, lost a baby, and they don't know how to heal and know how to deal, because they don't feel like it's big enough. Your loss is big enough. That loss, those loss, would have kept me probably going through miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage had I not dealt with them properly. The goal here is to heal your wounds, to get to the next stage of life, to heal your wounds, to receive the next blessings, to heal your wounds, to elevate, to heal your wounds, to get to destiny. That's what this is all about. I do not believe I would have another baby had I not healed from that properly. And there was even a point where I was going to start seeking fertility help, because after my third miscarriage, they did like an extra test, some other type of ultrasound, to see if there was anything wrong with me, and nothing could be found. And so even with my husband, nothing was wrong with us. And so later on, when I got out of the military, I had got a pelvic ultrasound, and I was going to start the process again, because I would start, and it was like, nah, we'll just see. But I ended up going for a pelvic ultrasound just to get the ball rolling again, to initiate me trying again. And so I got the pelvic ultrasound, and even when the results came back, I wasn't even interested in looking at the results. It was just like, it was almost like I didn't need the results. I didn't know why at the time, but at the time I did not need the results. I didn't want the results because it was like, I know I'm not going to do anything with the results. I'm not going to go back to the doctor. I don't want, for me, I didn't want any help medically as far as medications is concerned, because even during that time it was like I was getting away from medicine. It was like I was getting away from all these prescription type of meds. I was going more for a natural way, and if it wasn't working for me naturally, then maybe that's not what is in store for me at this moment. And it wasn't in store for me during those moments because my mind, my emotional self, my mental self was not ready to have another baby here. I raised one with a little bit of trauma until I started to work on me. And we always have time for that. So God said, we're going to do this the right way. And when I tell you, He comes through, all it requires is a little bit of faith and patience. We have to start doing things on God's time, not our time. When I tell you, when you wait and you be patient and you do it from a place of gratitude and not from a place of hurt, a place of pain, because I understood the assignment. When He said you wasn't healing from them, I knew I wasn't healing from them. I knew I wasn't doing it right. I knew it. We have to wait. A lot of us, let me tell you, the best thing you can do for yourself is do the work. Do your healing work and watch how things show up for you. Y'all, it's like I'm like the emotions within me is just like, if I could show you the things that's happened for me in my life as I started to take me seriously and put me first and wait and listen on the inner voice within, listening and waiting for God's voice. And actually trying to understand what this voice is telling me. The blessing, it don't get no better. It does not get any better. Did it hurt? Yes. Was it traumatizing going through all these different pregnancies? Yes. God was pushing me then. The first two, really the first three, was pushing me out of the military because He knew that was not my destiny. But the type of person I am, if I start something, I was going to finish it. If I started something, I was going to finish it. God was showing me through those pregnancies the weight and the stress and the mental illnesses that had on my body. He was showing me, but I was fighting through every day. Struggling. Towards the end of my career, I was just there. And I worked in a prison. But towards the end of my career, it was most like I had gotten to a place where it was like, Keela, what do you want to do? I was not bulging, and I really had to face, like, is this it with my career? Like, is this it? 11 years? And I was headed towards going to, my goal was to go warrant officer school, become a chief. And I've taken the test and got my scores to where I needed them to be to do this, all the while struggling. Anxiety, panic attacks every day, just internally suffering. And Those things had to happen to me. Those things had to happen to me. And the gifts that come from listening to what the Most High could do, the gifts of what faith can bring you, the gifts of having patience. After 11 years, 2 deployments, and, and just being in an environment that works against what you're about spiritually. And so today I can say that was a part of my journey. That is a part of why I'm sitting here. And I am a business owner. I am a life coach. I am able to be who I want to be because I listened. I listened with gratitude. I didn't listen with hate. I didn't listen with negativity. Once I realized that the mission is to make things right with me, heal my wounds, and love myself for real, it placed me here comfortably. God said I did not have to bring another baby into this world in that environment for me because it wasn't good for me. Now, it's people out there that are thriving in doing this. But for me, and what was in store for me and my true destiny and my true purpose, that wasn't what my destiny was. My destiny was for me to heal, to gain my self-love, to be real with myself and be real with those out there who's on their journey. That if you have faith and patience, it'll take you somewhere. And you're willing to be uncomfortable, you'll go somewhere. I can bring my baby into a world of peace, into a world of nurturing, into a sacred space because God helped me create the space to bring my baby in. God is so good. He is so good that we have one on the way now. As soon as I found out about this pregnancy, I knew this was the one. I knew this was the one. Don't take your loss so lightly. Be gentle with yourself. Show yourself some grace. And don't be apologetic for feeling how you feel. Don't be apologetic for feeling how you feel. God wants you to honor yourself. He wants you to honor your hurt. He wants you to honor your pain. He wants you to honor those lower parts of yourself so that you can gain what you need from those lower parts of yourself to use it towards your purpose. Honoring yourself brings wisdom. Healing from your hurts and your pain and your trauma, it brings wisdom. We have forgotten who we are. We have forgotten who we are because we was raised in so much burying. People feeling like they have to be strong because that's who we saw. We didn't see our family healing from their wounds. We didn't see them crying. We didn't see them showing emotion. We saw them burying their mess. And so we picked up on that. And so now that we know that we've picked up on that and we are living our lives based on that, it's time to change. Honor your pain. Honor yourself. Self-love, y'all, is so real. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, what do I need from you? Tell yourself that in the mirror. It's okay to talk to yourself. What do I need to do for you? and I love you. You need to do that every single day, twice a day, if you can. Okay? Honor your hurt. But most importantly, for those out there who've had miscarriages, let's heal. Let's heal that. Let's heal our hurt. Because our miscarriages matter too. Do not let people think that it's not big enough, because it is. All right? I think that's all I want to say. I may write a blog about this too, just because other things come to me. But yes, we have a bun in the oven. And I'm so grateful that I can bring our baby boy into a place of peace, a place of spiritual connection. Okay? A place of us being able to set the right path for this baby. And it's amazing that I'm doing the same for my almost 9-year-old daughter. Okay? Let's walk with a little bit more of intentions for our day. Let's walk being more conscious-minded. Being conscious-minded, like, just be in the moment. Be in the moment. So your moment can tell you what it needs from you. Okay? Go be love, go be light, go be peace, so that you can receive love, light, peace. Peace.